Number 1. This 1970 Ford Torino Cobra Jet is one of those classic muscle cars that immediately signals serious performance even before you dive into the details. In my opinion, the Torino CJ represents Ford's peak-era commitment to straight-line power combined with understated but aggressive styling. The first thing that stands out is the Cobra Jet designation. Personally, I think the 428 Cobra Jet engine is one of the most important Ford performance engines ever produced. It was designed specifically to compete with Mopar and Chevrolet big blocks during the height of the muscle car wars, and it delivered exactly what it promised. Massive torque, strong acceleration, and proven durability. Even by today's standards, a properly tuned CJ still feels brutally strong on the street. This listing mentions low miles and NOS parts, which in my opinion is a strong indicator that the car has either been preserved or carefully restored using original or period-correct components. For collector-grade Torinos, NOS parts can make a significant difference in both authenticity and value. The awesome condition description combined with like new condition status suggests that this is not a project car or a driver quality example. Personally, I interpret that as a vehicle that has likely been restored or maintained at a very high level, possibly aimed more toward collection than daily driving. One of the most appealing aspects of the 1970 Torino is its design. Unlike some flashier muscle cars of the era, the Torino has a more subtle, almost executive appearance. In my opinion, that's part of its charm. It doesn't scream for attention the way some competitors do, but when you know what it is, you immediately respect it. The presence of bucket seats further reinforces its performance identity. Personally, I always associate factory bucket seat configurations with a more driver-focused experience. It suggests the car was built with performance in mind rather than comfort-oriented cruising. The mention of a hide feature in the listing likely refers to hidden headlights, which were available on certain Torino models. In my opinion, hidden headlights add a very distinctive visual element. They give the car a clean front-end appearance when closed, and a more aggressive look when opened. It's a small detail, but it contributes significantly to the Torino's character. At $68,000, this Cobra Jet Torino sits firmly in the upper tier of the classic Ford market. Personally, I think pricing for these cars depends heavily on originality, documentation, and overall restoration quality. If this example truly has low miles, NOS parts, and excellent condition as stated, then it is positioned in a range consistent with well-preserved or high-end restored CJ models. What I like most about this car is its balance of performance heritage and collector appeal. The 428 Cobra Jet engine gives it undeniable muscle car credibility, while the Torino body style offers a more refined and less overexposed alternative to Mustangs or other more common Ford classics. Overall, in my opinion, this 1970 Ford Torino Cobra Jet is a strong example of Ford's golden-era muscle performance. The combination of the legendary CJ big block, likely high-level restoration work, NOS components, bucket seat configuration, and excellent condition creates a package that appeals both to serious collectors and performance enthusiasts. It may not be the most flashy muscle car on the market, but it represents exactly what made Ford's late 1960s and early 1970s performance division so respected. Serious power wrapped in a clean, purposeful design. Number 2. 1964 Ford Fairlane. This 1964 Ford Fairlane is a well-sorted classic muscle-era coupe that blends period styling with thoughtful mechanical upgrades, resulting in a driver-focused build that is clearly intended for real road use rather than static display. Finished in black with a tan interior, the car carries a clean, understated appearance that contrasts nicely with its performance-oriented drivetrain and restored condition. The Fairlane nameplate holds an important place in Ford's history, especially during the early to mid-1960s when the model transitioned from a family-oriented mid-size car into a legitimate performance platform. By 1964, the Fairlane had already begun earning attention from enthusiasts thanks to its relatively light body and compatibility with Ford's small-block V8 engines, making it a popular choice for both street and strip applications. Under the hood, this example is powered by a 289 cubic inch V8, one of Ford's most well-known and respected small-block engines. The 289 is recognized for its strong balance of reliability, responsiveness, and performance potential. In this application, it provides a classic American V8 driving feel with enough power to make the Fairlane feel lively without sacrificing drivability. Paired with the engine is a T5 5-speed manual transmission with overdrive, a significant upgrade over the original factory configuration. This modern transmission greatly improves highway drivability by reducing engine RPM at cruising speeds, making the car more comfortable for long-distance driving. It also enhances driver engagement, giving the Fairlane a more precise and performance-oriented character compared to its original setup. Power is delivered to the rear wheels through a Ford 10-inch rear axle with 3.0 gears. This relatively mild gear ratio supports relaxed highway cruising while still allowing the V8 to perform smoothly under acceleration. Combined with the overdrive transmission, this setup is clearly optimized for a balance between performance and comfort, rather than aggressive drag-style acceleration. According to the seller, the car underwent a body-off restoration completed around 2019. This type of restoration is one of the most comprehensive forms of classic car rebuilding, involving the separation of the body from the frame so that both can be fully restored and refinished. A restoration of this scale typically indicates a significant investment in both time and resources, and it often results in a structurally solid and visually refreshed vehicle. The result, in this case, is a Fairlane that presents as a clean and well-maintained driver. The seller notes that the car starts easily, stops properly, and drives very well, which is a strong indicator that the mechanical systems are in good working order. Vehicles that have been fully restored and properly sorted often provide some of the most enjoyable ownership experiences because they combine classic styling with reliable operation. Fuel economy is also mentioned as a notable advantage, with the car reportedly achieving around 20 miles per gallon and running on standard 87-octane fuel. While fuel efficiency is not typically the primary concern for classic car buyers, it does add practical value for owners who plan to use the vehicle regularly rather than store it. One interesting detail is that the car comes with two different hoods, a stock version and another with a functional hood scoop, both painted black. This suggests that the owner has considered both originality and performance styling, allowing future buyers to choose between a more factory-correct appearance or a more aggressive muscle car aesthetic. The seller also notes that the gas gauge is not reliable, which is a fairly common issue in older restored vehicles and typically not considered a major concern. More importantly, the rest of the systems are reported to function properly, including drivability and basic mechanical operation. Inside, the car has been modified with a simplified setup. The radio and heater have been deleted, which is often done in performance-oriented builds to reduce clutter and potentially save weight. While this may reduce comfort in certain driving conditions, it also reflects the car's more focused driving character. The seller includes spare parts such as the heater assembly and steering wheel, giving future owners the option to revert or modify the interior setup as desired. Another strong point is documentation. The seller mentions that build photos from start to finish are included, which adds transparency and value for buyers who want to understand exactly what work was performed during the restoration process. Detailed documentation is often a key factor in classic car valuation because it helps establish trust and provenance. From my perspective, the most appealing aspect of this Fairlane is its combination of classic styling and modern drivability. The 289 V8 paired with AT5 5-speed transmission transforms what would originally be a 4-speed era driving experience into something far more usable in modern traffic conditions. It is the kind of upgrade that makes a classic car genuinely enjoyable for regular use rather than occasional weekend driving only. The body-off restoration completed in 2019 also adds confidence, suggesting that the car is structurally sound and mechanically refreshed. While it is not described as a show-level restoration, it appears to be a well-executed driver quality build with a focus on usability and enjoyment. Overall, this 1964 Ford Fairlane represents a thoughtfully upgraded classic that blends vintage character with modern driving convenience. Its 289 V8 engine, 5-speed transmission, rear axle gearing, and full restoration make it a strong candidate for enthusiasts who want a classic Ford they can comfortably drive and enjoy without constant mechanical concerns. This 1964 Ford Fairlane is located in Farmington, New York, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price of $32,000. Number 3. 1970 Ford Torino GT. This 1970 Ford Torino GT is a striking example of Ford's muscle-era design language, combining bold styling, strong V8 performance, and a well-preserved garage-kept condition that gives it strong appeal among classic American performance car enthusiasts. Finished in a bright red exterior with a matching aggressive stance, this Torino presents the classic late 1960s to early 1970s Ford muscle car personality, complete with factory-inspired performance cues and a clean, original-looking presentation. Under the hood sits the highly regarded 351 Cleveland V8, one of Ford's most respected small-block performance engines. Known for its high-flow cylinder heads and strong mid- to high-range power delivery, the 351 Cleveland helped Ford compete directly in the muscle car wars of the era. In this Torino GT, the engine is presented in a detailed engine bay, suggesting that it has been well cared for and maintained. Paired with a dual exhaust system featuring an H-pipe and chrome tips, the setup enhances both performance flow and the signature deep V8 sound that defines classic muscle cars. Power is routed through an FMX automatic transmission, a durable and smooth-shifting gearbox commonly used in Ford's performance and full-size vehicles of the period. Supporting the drivetrain is a 9-inch rear end, widely recognized in the automotive world for its strength and reliability, especially in high-torque applications. This combination gives the Torino a solid foundation for both street cruising and spirited driving. The car also benefits from front power disc brakes, an important upgrade that improves stopping performance and overall safety compared to the original drum brake systems of the era. This enhancement makes the car more practical for modern road use while preserving its vintage character. Power steering further improves drivability, making the Torino more manageable at low speeds and during everyday driving situations. Visually, the Torino GT stands out with its scooped hood, hideaway headlights, and color-matched sport mirrors, all of which contribute to its aggressive and performance-oriented appearance. These design elements were part of Ford's effort to position the Torino GT as a serious contender in the muscle car market, blending styling flair with aerodynamic intent and visual presence. The hideaway headlights in particular give the car a distinctive and slightly more upscale look when not in active use. The exterior is complemented by chrome Magnum-style wheels wrapped in BF Goodrich white leather tires, a period-correct and enthusiast-favorite combination that reinforces the car's classic muscle identity. The stance, wheel choice, and tire setup all work together to give the car a balanced and purposeful road presence. Inside, the Torino maintains a clean and original-style configuration, consistent with its all-original garage-kept description. Cars that retain their factory-style interiors while receiving mechanical attention are often highly desirable because they preserve the authentic feel of the era while ensuring reliability on the road. With approximately 46,000 miles reported, this Torino GT appears to be a relatively low-mileage survivor for its age, especially considering it is described as garage-kept and in mint condition. Vehicles like this often appeal to collectors who prioritize originality and preservation over heavily modified restorations. The 1970 Ford Torino GT itself holds an important place in Ford's performance history. This generation represented the peak of Ford's mid-size muscle car development, offering a combination of style, engine options, and performance that competed directly with other iconic American muscle cars of the period. The GT trim specifically added visual upgrades and performance-oriented details that made the car more aggressive both in appearance and driving character. Located in Charlotte Courthouse, Virginia, this 1970 Ford Torino GT is offered at a price range of $38,000 to $42,500, with the seller noting that the vehicle is firm on price and does not consider trades. Given its 351 Cleveland V8, 9-inch rear end, FMX automatic transmission, front disc brakes, clean garage-kept condition, and strong visual presentation, it represents a well-preserved and highly desirable example of Ford's classic muscle car era. Overall, this Torino GT stands out as a properly maintained, original-style muscle car that balances performance, comfort, and iconic 1970 Ford styling. It offers the kind of driving experience enthusiasts look for in a vintage GT: strong V8 power, classic styling cues, and a solid mechanical foundation, making it a compelling option for collectors and drivers who appreciate authentic American muscle heritage. Number 4. A 1968 Mercury Cougar that presents itself as a well-sorted, upgraded classic muscle-era coupe combining factory luxury performance character with a number of modern reliability and drivetrain improvements. Finished in Wellington blue, this Cougar captures the long hood, short deck proportions that defined Mercury's entry into the pony car segment, offering a more refined and upscale alternative to its Ford Mustang sibling. The 1968 Cougar sits in the early generation of Mercury's performance coupe lineup, a period when the brand was targeting buyers who wanted sporty styling and V8 power without sacrificing comfort and sophistication. As a result, the Cougar has always had a slightly more mature and premium feel compared to other pony cars of the era, and that identity still shows through today. Under the hood, this example is equipped with a high-performance 302 cubic inch V8. The 302 is one of Ford's most widely recognized small-block engines, known for its strong aftermarket support, durability, and balanced performance characteristics. In high-performance form, the engine delivers responsive throttle behavior and a lively driving experience, making it well suited to a lightweight classic coupe like the Cougar. Backing the engine is an FMX automatic transmission. The FMX is a heavy-duty Ford automatic gearbox developed for smooth shifting and long-term durability. While not as performance-focused as some later transmissions, it is well regarded for its strength and ability to handle increased power, making it a dependable match for a modified 302 engine setup. In a street-driven classic like this, it provides a balance between performance and cruising comfort. Power is sent to the rear wheels through a Ford 9-inch rear axle, one of the most respected and widely used rear differentials in American performance cars. Known for its exceptional strength and modular design, the Ford 9-inch has become a staple in both factory performance vehicles and aftermarket builds. Its inclusion here suggests the car is well prepared to handle spirited driving and additional power upgrades if desired. The seller notes that the car has lots of new parts, which typically indicates ongoing maintenance and upgrades rather than a static restoration. While specific components are not listed in detail, this generally suggests attention has been given to reliability and drivability, which is especially important in a classic vehicle intended to be enjoyed rather than simply displayed. Visually, the Cougar is finished in Wellington blue, a color that enhances the car's sleek and slightly formal design. The Mercury Cougar always leaned toward a more refined aesthetic compared to its Ford Mustang counterpart, and the deep blue finish emphasizes that character while also giving the car a strong presence on the road. The seller describes it as a head-turner, which is consistent with the Cougar's reputation for elegant yet sporty styling. From a driving standpoint, the combination of a high-performance 302 FMX automatic and Ford 9-inch rear end suggests a car that is built for enjoyable street use rather than pure track performance. It likely offers strong mid-range power, smooth shifting, and stable highway cruising capability. This configuration is typical of well-balanced classic builds that prioritize real-world usability. The seller also indicates that the car is in very good condition and describes it as like new, though in the classic car context this usually refers to presentation and mechanical condition rather than literal factory new status. The mention of trophy-winning potential suggests that the car is likely clean, well-detailed, and presentable for shows or local events. From my perspective, the strongest aspect of this Cougar is its overall combination of components: a proven small-block V8, a durable FMX transmission, and a Ford 9-inch rear end. These three elements form a classic and reliable performance foundation that is widely respected among enthusiasts. Combined with its attractive Wellington blue exterior and Cougar's inherently upscale design, the car appears to offer a solid mix of style, performance, and usability. At an asking price of $19,500, this 1968 Mercury Cougar sits in a reasonable range for a modified but well-presented classic muscle-era coupe. It is not positioned as a rare collector-grade factory original example, but rather as a clean, upgraded driver that can be enjoyed immediately and still appreciated at shows. Overall, this 1968 Cougar represents a strong example of Mercury's late 1960s performance identity, blending V8 power, classic styling, and upgraded drivetrain components into a well-rounded and enjoyable classic car package. Number 5. 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1. This 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1 represents one of the most recognizable and desirable performance packages from the golden era of American muscle cars. Built during the peak of Mustang's first-generation evolution, the Mach 1 was designed to blend aggressive styling with strong V8 performance, and this particular example has been fully restored to a high standard within the last several years, making it a standout driver quality classic. The 1970 model year marked the final refinement of the original Mustang platform before Ford shifted toward a more comfort-oriented direction in the mid-1970s. The Mach 1 trim package added a distinct visual identity, including a sport hood, striping, and performance-focused detailing that set it apart from standard Mustang models. Even today, the Mach 1 name carries strong recognition among collectors due to its historical importance and muscular design language. This example is powered by a rebuilt 351 Windsor V8 engine, a well-known Ford small block that earned a reputation for durability and strong mid-range torque. The rebuilt nature of the engine suggests refreshed internal components and improved reliability compared to an original high-mileage unit. Paired with an automatic transmission, the drivetrain is configured for smooth, accessible performance rather than a manual, track-oriented driving experience. The seller notes that the car has been driven only around 500 miles since its restoration was completed approximately 4 to 5 years ago. This indicates that the vehicle has primarily been preserved rather than heavily used, which is often desirable in collector markets where condition and freshness of restoration play a significant role in value. One of the most visually striking aspects of this Mach 1 is its Calypso coral paint finish. This factory color is highly associated with the Mustang's late 1960s and early 1970s performance identity, offering a bold and period-correct appearance. The seller states that more than $35,000 was invested into the paintwork alone, suggesting a high-quality respray with attention to detail and finish quality. The car is further enhanced with new chrome trim, new wheels, and new tires, all of which contribute to a refreshed and cohesive presentation. Interestingly, the seller notes that a previous owner incorporated styling cues from the 1969 Mach 1, including hood design elements and side striping. While not strictly factory original for a 1970 model, these modifications reflect the strong visual continuity between the 1969 and 1970 Mach 1 designs, and they do not necessarily detract from its appeal for many buyers who prioritize aesthetics and overall presentation. Inside, the Mustang is described as having an immaculate interior. This is an important detail, as interior condition often has a major impact on both collector value and driving enjoyment. A well-preserved or properly restored cabin enhances the overall experience and reduces the need for immediate additional investment after purchase. From a driving perspective, this Mach 1 is equipped with power disc brakes and power steering, both of which significantly improve usability compared to earlier, more mechanical steering and braking systems. These upgrades make the car more comfortable and safer to operate in modern traffic conditions while maintaining its classic character. The overall restoration quality is emphasized through the combination of rebuilt mechanical components, high-end paintwork, refreshed trim, and updated rolling gear. With only a few hundred miles since completion, this Mustang appears to sit in the fresh restoration category, where condition and presentation are prioritized over long-term patina or originality. At a listing price of $62,500, this Mach 1 is positioned within the upper tier of restored classic Mustangs. The valuation reflects both the quality of restoration work and the desirability of the Mach 1 package itself, which continues to hold strong demand among muscle car enthusiasts. From a collector's standpoint, the strongest appeal of this vehicle lies in its combination of iconic styling, rebuilt drivetrain, and near-showroom condition. While some originality purists may prefer untouched factory examples, many buyers in this segment prioritize high-quality restorations that are ready to be enjoyed immediately without additional work. Located in Willoughby, Ohio, this 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1 is offered at $62,500. With its rebuilt 351 Windsor V8, automatic transmission, Calypso coral finish, refreshed interior, and comprehensive restoration work, it stands as a highly presentable example of one of Ford's most celebrated muscle car nameplates, ready for both show events and weekend cruising. Number 6. This 1966 Chevrolet Impala is a clean, honest example of a mid-60s full-size American cruiser, and in my opinion, it represents exactly the kind of classic that appeals to someone who values originality and simplicity over heavy modification. The first thing that stands out is the condition. The seller emphasizes that this is a no-rust car that came from Tennessee, and personally, I think that alone is one of the strongest selling points you can get in a 1960s Impala. Full-size Chevrolets of this era are known for developing rust in typical areas like the floors, trunk, and lower body panels, so a solid, rust-free example immediately puts this car in a more desirable category. The next important detail is documentation. The listing mentions that it comes with all documents, including the window sticker and title. In my opinion, that level of paperwork adds a lot of credibility. It helps confirm the car's history and makes it feel more complete, especially for buyers who appreciate originality and provenance. Under the hood is a 283 cubic inch V8 paired with a 4-barrel carburetor. Personally, I think the 283 is one of Chevrolet's most dependable small-block engines from the era. It may not be the most powerful option available, but it's known for smooth operation, reliability, and easy maintenance. The fact that the seller also includes the original 2-barrel intake setup is a nice bonus. In my opinion, that shows the car hasn't been heavily altered or stripped of its factory identity, and it gives the next owner flexibility if they want to return it closer to original specification. What I like about this setup is that it keeps the driving experience very authentic. A 283-powered Impala with a 4-barrel carb still delivers enough performance for relaxed cruising, but it doesn't overwhelm the car's original character. Personally, I think that fits the personality of a full-size 1966 Impala perfectly. The seller claims the car runs and drives better than most new cars, and while that may be a bit of enthusiasm, I understand the sentiment. A properly sorted classic with a simple V8 and minimal electronics can feel very direct and enjoyable on the road. There's something about the mechanical honesty of these cars that modern vehicles don't replicate. At a price of $14,500, this Impala sits in a fairly accessible range for a solid, rust-free classic Chevrolet. In my opinion, value in this segment depends heavily on body condition and drivability, and this car seems to score well in both areas. It's not presented as a show car or a high-end restoration, and personally, I think that's actually a positive. Cars like this often make better entry points into classic ownership because they can be enjoyed immediately without the pressure of perfection. What I like most about this Impala is its simplicity and authenticity. It's a clean, original-style V8 cruiser with documentation, solid bodywork, and a straightforward drivetrain. There's no overcomplication, no extreme modifications, just a classic Chevrolet built for comfortable driving. Overall, in my opinion, this 1966 Chevy Impala is a strong example of a well-preserved, rust-free American cruiser. The 283 V8, factory documentation, clean Tennessee origin, and honest presentation make it a very appealing driver-quality classic. It may not be the most powerful or rare Impala out there, but it delivers exactly what many enthusiasts want, a reliable, original-feeling classic that you can simply get in and enjoy. Number 7. 1968 Mercury Cougar. This 1968 Mercury Cougar is a well-preserved example of Ford's upscale pony car offering from the late 1960s, positioned as a more refined and luxurious alternative to the Mustang while still delivering the same fundamental performance character. Finished in white with a black interior, this Cougar presents a clean and timeless appearance that highlights the car's long hood, crisp body lines, and distinctive hidden headlight design that helps set it apart from its competitors. When Mercury introduced the Cougar in 1967, it was intended to bring a more mature and premium feel to the pony car segment. While sharing its platform with the Mustang, the Cougar emphasized comfort, styling detail, and a more upscale driving experience. The 1968 model continued that philosophy, refining the design and solidifying the Cougar's identity as a stylish grand touring coupe with muscle car capability. Under the hood, this example is equipped with Ford's 302 cubic inch V8 engine, a reliable and widely respected small-block motor known for its smooth power delivery and long-term durability. While not the most extreme performance engine of its era, the 302 provides a strong balance of drivability and responsiveness, making it ideal for both cruising and occasional spirited driving. The engine is paired with a C4 automatic transmission, one of Ford's most durable and widely used automatic gearboxes during the classic muscle era. The C4 is known for its simplicity, reliability, and smooth shifting characteristics. Together, the 302 V8 and C4 transmission create a straightforward and easy-to-maintain drivetrain combination that suits the Cougar's grand touring personality. According to the seller, the vehicle runs smoothly and requires nothing, which suggests it is in a mechanically sorted condition. A "get in and drive" description is particularly valuable in the classic car market, where many vehicles require ongoing mechanical attention or restoration work before they can be enjoyed on the road. In this case, the Cougar appears to be positioned as a turnkey driver. The exterior white paint is described as shining well, which complements the Cougar's clean and elegant body design. White is often considered a strong choice for classic cars because it emphasizes body lines and chrome accents without overpowering the overall design. On the Cougar, it helps highlight the subtle differences that distinguish it from its Mustang sibling, including the more formal roofline and refined front-end styling. Inside, the black interior is reported to be in excellent condition with no visible imperfections. This is an important detail, as interior condition often has a significant impact on both driving enjoyment and overall value. The Cougar's interior was originally designed to offer a more upscale feel compared to other pony cars of its time, and a well-maintained black interior helps preserve that premium impression. One of the key strengths of this vehicle is its overall cleanliness, both visually and mechanically. The seller emphasizes that the car is remarkably clean inside, outside, and underneath, which suggests a well-maintained example that has likely been cared for over time rather than heavily modified or neglected. Structural and cosmetic cleanliness are especially important for older classics, where rust and wear can significantly impact long-term value. From a driving perspective, the Cougar offers a comfortable and composed experience. The combination of a smooth V8 engine, automatic transmission, and refined suspension tuning makes it well-suited for relaxed cruising. While it retains the muscle car DNA of its era, the Cougar leans slightly more toward comfort and style, making it an appealing choice for enthusiasts who want classic looks without an overly aggressive driving character. From my perspective, the strongest appeal of this Mercury Cougar lies in its balance of originality, condition, and usability. It is not presented as a high-performance build or heavily modified restomod, but rather as a clean, well-preserved classic that can be driven immediately. That simplicity is often exactly what many buyers look for, especially those who want a dependable weekend cruiser or entry point into classic Ford Mercury ownership. Overall, this 1968 Mercury Cougar represents a solid and attractive example of late 1960s American automotive design. Its 302 V8 engine, C4 automatic transmission, clean cosmetic condition, and well-kept interior combine to create a classic car that is both visually appealing and easy to enjoy on the road. This 1968 Mercury Cougar is located in New Hyde Park, New York, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price of $29,000. Number 8. 1966 Ford Mustang Sprint. This 1966 Ford Mustang Sprint is a long-owned, enthusiast-kept example of Ford's early Mustang platform, representing the kind of classic that has been actively enjoyed rather than hidden away or heavily restored. Finished in white with a black interior, this Mustang carries the unmistakable first-generation styling that helped define the American pony car movement in the mid-1960s. With a reported ownership history dating back to 1978, it stands out as a true long-term keeper rather than a recently flipped collector vehicle. Under the hood, this Mustang retains its original style mechanical character and is paired with an automatic transmission. While not presented as a high-performance build, the focus here is clearly on originality and drivability. Over the years, key maintenance items have been addressed, including brake system work, a rebuilt transmission, and replacement of consumables such as tires. More recently, the radiator and thermostat have also been replaced, ensuring the cooling system remains functional for continued cruising use. The seller describes the car as pretty much all original, which suggests that much of the vehicle retains its factory-era components and overall configuration. This type of preservation is increasingly valued in the classic car market, where originality and long-term ownership often carry more character than full restorations. The fact that the car has been used consistently for cruise nights and car shows also indicates that it has remained operational and roadworthy throughout its life. Cosmetically, the vehicle shows its age in certain areas. The seller openly notes that rust is beginning to appear and that the car requires minor attention. This level of honesty is typical for driver-quality classics that have not undergone full restoration, and it reflects a vehicle that has been used and enjoyed over many decades rather than stored as a static display piece. The driving experience of this Mustang is described in very realistic terms by the owner. It is not positioned as a refined modern vehicle, but rather as a raw, mechanical classic that delivers a more direct and unfiltered connection to the road. Early Mustangs are known for their light construction, simple suspension, and straightforward engineering, all of which contribute to a driving feel that is very different from modern cars. This particular example embraces that identity fully. Historically, the 1966 Mustang represents one of the most important years in the model's early development. By this point, Ford had refined the original 1964 one-half design into a more mature and stable platform while still maintaining the compact size and sporty character that made the Mustang an instant success. The Sprint Edition, often associated with inline-six powered configurations and appearance packages, contributed to the Mustang's broad market appeal beyond just high-performance V8 variants. With approximately 78,456 miles reported, this Mustang reflects long-term, regular use rather than a low-mileage preservation piece. However, the decades of ownership by a single enthusiast add significant character and authenticity to the vehicle's history. Cars like this often appeal to buyers who value personal history and driving enjoyment over perfect cosmetic condition. Located in Wayne, New Jersey, this 1966 Ford Mustang Sprint is offered at $9,400. The seller emphasizes in-person negotiation and viewing only, reinforcing the idea that this is a hands-on, driver-focused classic rather than a showpiece or restored collector-grade vehicle. Trade interest is limited to older Ford pickups, further suggesting a preference for vintage Ford ownership within the enthusiast community. Overall, this Mustang Sprint is a genuine long-term ownership classic that prioritizes usability and character over perfection. It offers the timeless appeal of early Mustang design, combined with a straightforward mechanical setup and decades of personal care. For enthusiasts seeking an affordable entry into classic Ford ownership with real history and a strong connection to the past, this 1966 Mustang represents a grounded and authentic option. Number 9. A highly modified 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 Club Coupe that has been transformed into a serious pro-touring-style performance build, combining classic mid-1960s Ford styling with modern drivetrain engineering, suspension upgrades, and high-end components throughout. This is not a restoration-focused survivor. It is a purpose-built performance machine with extensive mechanical investment and very limited mileage since completion. At its core, the car is powered by a 410 cubic inch Windsor-based V8 built by Randy DeBoer of Zeeland, Michigan, producing an estimated 524 horsepower and 516 lb-ft of torque. The engine is built with high-performance internals including an eagle-forged crankshaft and connecting rods, Mall pistons, a comp roller camshaft, and ported Windsor Senior cylinder heads and Victor intake manifold. The combination of forged rotating assembly and performance valve train components indicates a build designed for both durability and strong mid-to-high RPM power delivery. Backing the engine is a new Tremec TKX 5-speed manual transmission sourced from American Driveline, paired with a hydraulic dual-disc clutch system and a steel QuickTime bell housing. This setup is a significant upgrade over the original drivetrain, offering modern shift quality, improved strength, and highway-friendly gearing. The TKX is widely used in high-end restomods because it can handle substantial power while still providing smooth street drivability. Power is delivered to the rear wheels through a newly built Strange Engineering 9-inch rear end featuring a nodular iron center section and a Yukon mechanical positraction unit with 3.89 gearing. The Ford 9-inch is already known for its strength, and in this configuration it is clearly built to handle aggressive driving and high torque output. The 3.89 gear ratio suggests strong acceleration characteristics, making this Fairlane feel much more performance-oriented than stock. The chassis and suspension have been extensively upgraded for handling and control. Up front, the car features Control Freak tubular suspension components and Viking double-adjustable coilovers, allowing fine-tuning of ride quality and performance. The rear uses Calvert monoleaf springs, a setup commonly found in high-performance street and drag-oriented builds. A Hellwig front sway bar further improves cornering stability and reduces body roll. Braking performance has also been modernized with a full Wilwood disc brake system, including a matching master cylinder, new brake lines, and an adjustable proportioning valve. This is a critical upgrade given the significant increase in power, ensuring the car can stop with confidence and consistency under spirited driving conditions. Supporting systems have been built to match the performance level of the drivetrain. Fuel delivery is handled by an aeromotive fuel pump paired with a new fuel tank and sending unit. Cooling is managed by a cold case aluminum radiator with an electric fan and relay system, designed to maintain stable temperatures under load. A stainless dual 2.5-inch exhaust system with Borla XR1 mufflers completes the performance package, providing both flow and a performance-oriented exhaust note. The body and structure have also been reinforced, with subframe connectors welded in to improve chassis rigidity. This is an important modification for high-horsepower classic cars, as it reduces flex and improves handling consistency, especially under hard acceleration or cornering. Inside, the car has been fully refreshed with new interior components including door panels, dashpad, and carpeting. While the exterior paint is described as driver quality rather than show perfect, the overall presentation is clearly intended to balance usability with high performance. The trunk-mounted Optima battery and relocated electrical systems reflect a thoughtful approach to weight distribution and packaging. The car rides on Wheelsmith custom 17-inch steel wheels wrapped in Nitto 555 G2 tires, combining a period-correct aesthetic with modern grip levels. Interestingly, the inclusion of reconditioned factory dog dish hubcaps suggests the builder retained flexibility between performance and classic visual styling. One of the most notable aspects of this Fairlane is the scale of investment and documentation. The seller notes over $70,000 in receipts and approximately 1.5 years of weekend labor invested into the build, along with very low mileage since completion, reportedly only about 5 miles. The car also achieved a second-place finish at the 2026 Detroit Autorama, indicating a high level of build quality and attention to detail recognized in a competitive show environment. From a driving perspective, this Fairlane is clearly engineered to be a modernized muscle car experience wrapped in a classic 1960s body. The combination of a 500-plus horsepower Windsor V8, Tremec TKX manual transmission, upgraded suspension geometry, and Wilwood braking system places it firmly in the pro touring category, where handling and usability are as important as straight-line performance. At an asking price of $68,500, This 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 Club Coupe is positioned as a high-end restomod rather than a stock collector vehicle. The value here is driven by the quality of components, level of fabrication, and performance engineering rather than originality. For buyers seeking a fully sorted, modernized classic Ford with serious performance capability, this build represents a comprehensive and well-executed package. Overall, this Fairlane stands out as a professionally constructed, high-horsepower restomod that blends classic styling with modern performance systems, making it a capable street and show car with significant engineering investment behind it. Number 10. 1973 Ford Torino Grand Sport. This 1973 Ford Torino Grand Sport represents the final era of Ford's intermediate performance and personal luxury coupe lineup before changing emission standards and shifting market trends began to reshape American muscle cars in the mid-1970s. While the earlier Torino GT and Cobra models from the late 1960s and early 1970s often receive more attention, the Grand Sport variant still offers a strong combination of V8 power, comfort-oriented design, and classic Ford styling. According to the listing, this example is in excellent condition both inside and out, with no reported rust. That detail alone is significant, as many Torinos from this period suffered from corrosion over time, especially in the lower body panels and rear quarter areas. A rust-free example typically stands out immediately in this segment of the classic car market, particularly when it retains original structure and trim. Power comes from a 351 cubic inch V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. The 351 Ford small block is well known for its durability and balanced performance characteristics. It delivers solid torque, smooth drivability, and long-term reliability when properly maintained. In a full-size or intermediate platform like the Torino, this engine provides enough power for comfortable highway cruising and relaxed everyday driving, rather than aggressive muscle car performance. The seller notes that the vehicle runs and drives great, with no issues, which suggests that the drivetrain is in good working condition. For a classic car of this age, a functioning and reliable powertrain is one of the most important indicators of overall value, especially when combined with a clean structural condition. The reported mileage is 33,300 miles, which is relatively low for a vehicle from 1973. While mileage alone does not guarantee condition, lower usage often correlates with reduced wear on internal engine components, suspension systems, and interior materials. If accurate, this mileage would further support the car's excellent condition description. Inside, the car is described as having an excellent interior. The brown interior color scheme is consistent with many Ford designs of the era, where earthy tones were commonly used to create a warm, upscale cabin environment. A well-preserved interior in a classic Torino significantly enhances both comfort and overall value, as interior restoration work can be both time-consuming and expensive. From a driving perspective, the 1973 Torino Grand Sport is designed more for comfortable cruising than high-performance racing. By this time, Ford was increasingly balancing performance with ride comfort, and vehicles like the Torino reflected that shift. The result is a car that offers smooth road manners, stable highway behavior, and a relaxed driving experience that suits long-distance cruising or weekend enjoyment. The exterior is listed as off-white, a classic and timeless color choice that tends to age well and complement the Torino's long, clean body lines. Combined with the no-rust claim, this suggests a vehicle that has likely been well cared for or preserved in favorable conditions. At an asking price of $18,500, this Torino Grand Sport sits in a moderate range for the market. It is not positioned as a high-dollar collector-grade muscle car, but rather as a clean, usable classic that can be enjoyed without immediate restoration work. Vehicles in this category are often attractive to buyers who want a vintage driving experience without the financial burden of a full rebuild. From my perspective, the key strengths of this 1973 Ford Torino Grand Sport are its rust-free condition, reported reliability, and clean presentation. While it may not carry the same collector prestige as earlier high-performance Torino variants, it offers a solid balance of classic styling, V8 power, and everyday drivability. Located in Circleville, Ohio, this 1973 Ford Torino Grand Sport is offered at $18,500. Featuring a 351 V8 engine, automatic transmission, clean interior, and rust-free body, it presents itself as a well-preserved and ready-to-drive classic Ford Intermediate that can be enjoyed immediately with minimal additional work required. Number 11. This 1966 Pontiac Lemans is a really interesting blend of classic A-body muscle car character and modern reliability upgrades, And in my opinion, that combination is exactly what makes it appealing in today's market. The first thing that stands out is the engine swap to a 400 cubic inch Pontiac V8. Personally, I think this is one of the best upgrades you can make to a mid-1960s Pontiac A-body. The 400 has a strong reputation for torque and durability, and it fits the lemons perfectly because it transforms the car from a mild cruiser into something that genuinely feels like a muscle car. Paired with a turbo 400 automatic transmission, the drivetrain setup is about as solid as it gets for street use. In my opinion, the TH400 is one of the most reliable automatics ever built by GM. It handles power well, shifts consistently, and is nearly bulletproof in normal classic car applications. What I like here is that the upgrades are not just performance-focused, but also aimed at dependability. The new painless wiring harness, for example, is a very smart modification. Personally, I see wiring as one of the biggest hidden issues in older cars, and replacing the entire harness significantly improves long-term reliability and reduces electrical headaches. The new starter and alternator continue that theme. In my opinion, those are the kinds of upgrades that make a classic car much more enjoyable to own because they reduce the risk of being stranded and improve everyday usability. One of the most important upgrades listed is the four-wheel disc brake conversion. Personally, I think this is a huge improvement over the original drum brake setup. It brings the stopping power much closer to modern standards, which is especially important when you're dealing with a stronger engine like a 400 V8. It also makes the car much more confidence-inspiring to drive in real-world conditions. The red exterior with a black interior is a classic muscle-era Pontiac combination. In my opinion, Pontiac really knew how to spec colors in the 1960s, and red on an A-body always looks aggressive without being overdone. It fits the Lemons identity very well, sporty but not flashy in a forced way. The listing describes the car as very good condition with no significant damage or problems, and personally, I take that as a sign that this is likely a driver quality classic rather than a fully restored show car. That's not a negative. In fact, it often means the car is more usable and less stressful to own. At $29,500, this Lemon sits in a fairly reasonable range for a modified but well-sorted Pontiac A-body. In my opinion, the value here comes less from originality and more from usability. It's not a numbers-matching collector piece, but it is a properly upgraded classic that appears ready to drive and enjoy. What I like most about this car is its practicality within the classic muscle car world. It keeps the vintage Pontiac identity, but adds enough modern reliability improvements to make ownership much easier than a fully original setup. Overall, in my opinion, this 1966 Pontiac Lemons is a well-executed driver-focused classic. The 400 V8, turbo 400 transmission, upgraded wiring, improved charging system, and disc brakes create a package that feels intentionally built for real-world use. It may not be a pure factory original restoration, but it offers something many enthusiasts actually prefer today: classic muscle car style with fewer compromises in reliability and drivability. Number 12. 1965 Ford Thunderbird Landau. This 1965 Ford Thunderbird Landau is a well-preserved example of Ford's mid-1960s personal luxury coupe, combining classic styling, V8 power, and a strong level of originality. Finished in Wimbledon white with a black interior and vinyl roof, this Thunderbird captures the elegant and formal design language that made the model one of the most recognizable American luxury cars of its era. With its long body lines, distinctive roof treatment, and signature swing-away steering wheel, it reflects a period when comfort and style were just as important as performance. The 1965 Thunderbird belongs to the fourth generation of the model, a redesign that shifted the car further toward personal luxury rather than sports car inspiration. By this point, the Thunderbird had grown larger and more refined, targeting buyers who wanted a smooth, comfortable, and stylish grand touring experience. The Landau trim in particular added a more formal appearance, highlighted by the vinyl roof and upscale interior details. Power comes from Ford's 390 cubic inch V8 engine, one of the most respected big block engines of the 1960s. Known for its strong torque and smooth power delivery, the 390 provided the Thunderbird with effortless acceleration and relaxed highway cruising ability. Paired with an automatic transmission, this drivetrain was designed for comfort and ease of use rather than aggressive performance, making it ideal for long-distance driving and everyday enjoyment. According to the seller, the car runs and drives beautifully and retains what is believed to be original mileage, supported by the presence of the original window sticker. This kind of documentation adds credibility and historical value, especially for collectors who prioritize authenticity. A well-documented ownership history often enhances both desirability and long-term appreciation potential. One of the standout aspects of this Thunderbird is its originality. The seller notes that there is no rust or pitting, which is a significant advantage for a mid-1960s vehicle. Rust is one of the most common issues in classics of this era, and a structurally clean example immediately stands out in the market. The fact that the car has been repainted once suggests that it has received cosmetic care while still maintaining much of its original character. The interior is described as largely original and in excellent condition, with the exception of a small split in the driver's seat. The rest of the cabin, including the headliner, is reported to be immaculate. This is particularly important in a Thunderbird, where the interior plays a major role in the overall luxury experience. Wide seats, soft materials, and a spacious layout were key selling points when the car was new, and preserving that original feel adds significantly to its appeal. This example is also equipped with several of the Thunderbird's most distinctive features. The swing-away steering wheel was an innovative design that allowed the steering column to move aside for easier entry and exit. The reclining passenger seat further emphasized comfort and customization, reinforcing the car's identity as a personal luxury vehicle rather than a performance-focused coupe. From a mechanical standpoint, the seller highlights a number of recent updates, including new front-end components, exhaust system, battery, alternator, and starter. These improvements suggest that the vehicle has been maintained for reliable operation rather than simply stored as a showpiece. A well-sorted classic that can be confidently driven is often far more valuable in practical terms than a fully original but mechanically neglected example. The exterior finish in Wimbledon white gives the Thunderbird a clean, timeless appearance. White was a popular color choice in the 1960s for luxury vehicles because it emphasized the car's long proportions and chrome accents. Combined with the vinyl roof and original hubcaps, the car maintains a classic and elegant factory-inspired look. From a driving perspective, the Thunderbird delivers the kind of smooth, relaxed experience that defined American luxury cars of the 1960s. The 390 V8 provides ample torque for effortless acceleration, while the automatic transmission ensures a comfortable, stress-free driving experience. This is not a performance car in the modern sense, but rather a grand touring cruiser designed to make driving feel easy and enjoyable. From my perspective, the strongest qualities of this Thunderbird are its originality, documentation, and overall condition. The presence of the original window sticker, claimed original mileage, and largely untouched interior make it especially appealing to collectors who value authenticity. At the same time, the recent mechanical updates ensure that it remains practical for regular use. Overall, this 1965 Ford Thunderbird Landau represents a well-preserved and thoughtfully maintained example of one of Ford's most iconic personal luxury cars. Its 390 V8 engine, swing-away steering wheel, original documentation, and clean structural condition combine to create a classic that is both historically significant and enjoyable to drive. This 1965 Ford Thunderbird Landau is located in Rogersville, Tennessee, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price of $17,500. Number 13. 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone. This 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone is a classic mid-60s performance coupe that blends compact proportions with genuine high-performance hardware, making it one of the more desirable Mercury intermediates from its era. Finished in an off-white exterior with a black interior, this Cyclone presents a clean, understated look that highlights the car's factory performance roots without relying on overly flashy styling. With a clean title, reported very good condition, and a strong list of mechanical upgrades, this example appears to be built with a clear focus on drivability and engine performance. Power comes from a 289 high-performance V8, an engine that played a major role in Ford Motor Company's performance reputation during the 1960s. Known for its willingness to rev and its solid durability, the 289 Hypa variant was widely used in early Ford performance applications and remains a respected small-block engine among enthusiasts. In this Cyclone, the engine has been enhanced with performance-oriented components that further improve airflow and combustion efficiency. Key upgrades include an Edelbrock intake manifold, a dual-feed Holley carburetor, Edelbrock aluminum heads, and 4-tube headers. Together, these modifications significantly improve breathing and exhaust flow, resulting in stronger horsepower potential and improved throttle response compared to a factory configuration. The combination of these components suggests a well-thought-out performance build designed to maximize the strengths of the 289 platform without compromising its classic character. Power is delivered through a 4-speed manual transmission, which greatly enhances the driving experience. Unlike automatic-equipped cruisers of the era, this setup allows the driver to fully engage with the engine's power band and extract more performance through precise gear selection. The manual transmission also reinforces the Cyclone's identity as a true driver's car, especially when paired with a high-performance small-block V8. The seller notes that the body is in very solid condition, with good floor and trunk pans, which is an important detail for any classic vehicle of this age. Structural integrity is a key factor in evaluating mid-60s American cars, and solid underbody components indicate that the vehicle has avoided the heavy corrosion issues that often affect classics from this period. This contributes significantly to both long-term usability and overall value. Mechanically, the car is described as being in great condition, suggesting that it has been maintained to a level that allows it to be driven and enjoyed without immediate major repairs. While not presented as a full show-quality restoration, this Cyclone appears to occupy the desirable middle ground between driver-quality usability and performance-focused modification. The 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone itself holds an important place in Ford's performance lineage. It was part of Mercury's effort to compete in the growing muscle and performance car segment, offering buyers a smaller, lighter alternative to full-size models while still delivering strong V8 power. Its understated styling combined with optional high-performance engines made it a sleeper in many configurations, capable of surprising larger and more heavily marketed competitors on the road. With approximately 112,000 miles reported, this example reflects a car that has seen extended use over its lifetime, yet the presence of upgraded mechanical components and solid body structure suggests it has been maintained and improved along the way rather than neglected. Cars in this category often appeal to enthusiasts who value driving engagement and classic performance over strict originality. Located in Henrico, Virginia, this 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone is offered at an asking price of $27,800. Considering its 289 high-performance engine, 4-speed manual transmission, upgraded Edelbrock and Holley components, solid body condition, and strong mechanical presentation, it represents a compelling option within the classic American performance market. Overall, this Comet Cyclone delivers the essence of mid-60s muscle in a smaller, lighter package. It combines period-correct performance engineering with tasteful upgrades that enhance drivability and power output, making it a well-rounded classic for enthusiasts seeking an engaging and authentic vintage driving experience. Number 14, a 1967 Pontiac Lemans that represents a classic mid-size American cruiser with a strong balance of originality, tasteful upgrades, and usable driver condition. This example sits in the sweet spot between preserved survivor and lightly refreshed weekend driver, offering the kind of honest presentation that appeals to enthusiasts who want something they can actually enjoy on the road without immediately starting a full restoration project. The 1967 Pontiac Lemans belongs to Pontiac's A-body lineup, sharing its platform with a more famous GTO but originally positioned as a more comfort-oriented model. Despite that, the Lemans often served as the foundation for performance builds due to its strong chassis and available V8 options. In this case, the car is equipped with a 326 cubic inch Pontiac V8 paired with an automatic transmission, a combination known for smooth power delivery and reliable cruising performance. While not a high-output muscle engine like the 389 or 400 found in GTO variants, the 326 provides enough torque to move the car confidently while maintaining a more relaxed and manageable driving character. One of the notable features of this example is its factory-style configuration with bucket seats and a floor-mounted console shifter. These options give the interior a sportier feel compared to standard bench seat layouts, and they help bridge the gap between a comfort-oriented Lemans and a more performance-focused GTO-inspired setup. The inclusion of a 4-barrel carburetor, along with the availability of the original 2-barrel intake setup, suggests that the car has been tuned slightly for improved drivability while still retaining its factory components for authenticity. Mechanically, the seller notes that the car has benefited from recent maintenance work, including new brakes, shocks, and replacement of door and weather sealing components. These are important updates for any vintage vehicle, as they directly affect safety, ride quality, and overall usability. Fresh brake components in particular are a major advantage, especially for a classic car that is intended to be driven regularly rather than stored. From a structural and cosmetic standpoint, the car is described as a true survivor, meaning it retains a significant portion of its original character and finish. The paint is not fully restored, and instead shows a natural aged patina, sometimes referred to as patina finish, which has become increasingly appreciated in the classic car community. This type of appearance gives the vehicle a more authentic, lived-in personality rather than a fully restored, show-quality aesthetic. For many buyers, this balance preserves originality while still offering visual appeal. The seller also highlights that the car runs well and drives as expected, which is an important distinction in the classic car market. A driving survivor with functional systems typically holds more immediate enjoyment value than a non-running project, even if cosmetic imperfections are present. The description suggests that the drivetrain and basic mechanical systems are in working order, making it suitable for casual cruising, local shows, or weekend drives. Another appealing aspect of this lemans is its flexibility in terms of future direction. The seller notes that it could remain as a preserved driver, be repainted and improved for increased value, or even be transformed into a GTO-style clone. This reflects one of the key strengths of the A-body Pontiac platform. It is highly adaptable. Enthusiasts often choose to upgrade suspension, engine performance, or styling to match GTO specifications, and the aftermarket support for these cars remains strong. From a market perspective, the asking price of $22,990 positions this lemans in a reasonable range for a running, mostly original classic Pontiac with V8 power and desirable factory options. It is not a high-dollar show restoration, nor is it a neglected project. Instead, it sits in the middle as a usable classic with room for personalization or incremental improvement. Overall, this 1967 Pontiac lemans offers a strong combination of vintage Pontiac styling, V8 drivability, and survivor character. With its 326 engine, factory bucket seat interior, recent mechanical refresh, and preserved patina finish, it stands as a practical and enjoyable entry point into classic Pontiac ownership with multiple potential directions for future enhancement. Number 15. Oldsmobile 98. This 1985 Oldsmobile 98 is being offered as an inexpensive full-size classic, positioned either as a reparable project or a parts donor depending on the buyer's goals and resources. The Oldsmobile 98 was one of General Motors' long-running flagship nameplates, known for its emphasis on comfort, smooth highway cruising, and traditional American luxury styling. By the mid-1980s, it represented the more modern, downsized era of full-size GM sedans, while still maintaining a focus on ride comfort and long-distance drivability. According to the listing, this example shows approximately 125,000 miles, which is relatively moderate for a vehicle of this age. These cars were commonly used as highway cruisers, and mileage in this range is not unusual. When properly maintained, the 3800 series and related GM powertrains from this era are generally regarded as durable and capable of extended service life, especially when not severely neglected. The seller states that the vehicle still runs and drives, which is an important detail given its condition. A running full-size Cadillac/Oldsmobile class sedan at this price point often indicates that the core drivetrain is still functional, even if other systems require attention. However, it is also noted that the car was involved in an accident, which has resulted in visible damage and the need for several repairs. Reported damage includes the radiator and front bumper, along with additional unspecified issues visible in the photos. A compromised radiator typically suggests front-end impact damage, which may also affect supporting components such as cooling lines, mounts, or front structural elements. Because of this, a full inspection would be necessary to determine whether the vehicle is best suited for repair or dismantling. Despite the damage, the seller emphasizes that the car runs and drives good, which suggests that the engine and transmission may still be operational and usable. This makes the vehicle potentially valuable for mechanical components alone, especially if the drivetrain remains intact and free of major issues. The Oldsmobile 98 of this generation is part of GM's traditional full-size luxury lineup, sharing its design philosophy with Buick and Cadillac counterparts of the era. These cars were built with comfort-oriented suspension systems, spacious interiors, and relatively simple mechanical layouts compared to modern vehicles. Even in damaged condition, they often retain usable interiors, trim pieces, and drivetrain components that can be useful for restoration projects or repairs of similar models. At an asking price of $700, this vehicle is clearly positioned at the very low end of the classic car market. At this level, buyers are typically either looking for parts, a budget project, or a cheap platform for mechanical experimentation or customization. The need gone ASAP phrasing also suggests urgency in the sale, which is common in post-accident vehicle listings. From a practical standpoint, the main value of this Oldsmobile 98 lies in its running condition and complete structure. Even with accident damage, a functioning drivetrain and intact major components can justify the purchase for someone with fabrication skills, access to parts, or a need for a donor vehicle. From my perspective, This 1985 Oldsmobile 98 is not a cosmetic restoration candidate in its current state, but rather a utility-based purchase. It may serve best as a source of parts or a low-cost mechanical project where the buyer is prepared to handle collision repair work or component harvesting. Located in Newark, New Jersey, this 1985 Oldsmobile 98 is offered at $700. Showing approximately 125,000 miles, still running and driving but affected by accident damage requiring radiator and front-end repairs, it represents a low-cost entry point into full-size GM ownership primarily suited for parts use or hands-on restoration experimentation.